What's going on, guys? So UFC 236 is looking pretty stacked. I already talked about Israel Adesanya versus Kelvin Gastelum. Right now I want to talk about the rematch versus Dustin Poirier versus Max Holloway for the intern lightweight belt, which doesn't come at a small price. I mean, Tony Ferguson was originally offered this fight versus Max Holloway, but he didn't want to take the fight. I feel like Tony Ferguson believes that he deserves that title shot versus Khabib, and I completely agree. I think he deserves it. There's no one in the UFC that deserves a title shot more. I mean, he originally had the title and he hurt his leg by some freak accident and they stripped him. So that goes to show that these intern titles don't mean anything. But let's talk about this rematch. Originally, Dustin Poirier beat Max Holloway via triangle armbar at UFC 143. I believe that was the Diaz Condit card, so it was a while ago, back in 2012. Max Holloway looks like a completely different fighter since their last fight. I mean, he's on like a 12-fight win streak right now and is looking unstoppable. But you know what? Dustin Poirier don't look too bad himself. But let's say, hypothetically, Max Holloway wins this intern lightweight belt. So now he has to defend two belts, but the 145-pound division is looking pretty muddy. There's a lot of traffic. We have Zabit Nurmagomedov, who is running up these rankings looking like a killer. We have Frankie Edgar, which many people think deserves the belt. We have Jeremy Stevens, who is always good and like nipping at the heels of the champion. We have Alexander Volkanovski, who looks unstoppable himself. So there's so many fights for Max Holloway at 145, and now we're mudding up this division. I completely understand where Tony Ferguson's coming from. He already got stripped of a belt over a freak accident, in which he came back 6 months later, so it wasn't like he was out that long. They hand out these interim freaking belts like they're candy or something, and then the intern belt doesn't even guarantee you a shot for the title. They literally give these people the intern belt and then strip them. This fight alone has 2 intern belts on it. And Dustin Poirier himself put out a tweet before he was offered this fight versus Max Holloway for the intern belt that the UFC might as well let him go. And that's because these fighters are sick of working their way up the rankings and not getting that shot that they deserve. But you know what's sad for Dustin Poirier? He'll probably win the intern belt, and you know what's funny? They'll probably give the championship fight versus Khabib Nurmagomedov to Tony Ferguson. I mean, that's just how the UFC works. These intern belts are just used as a way to make money and make these pay-per-views and the fights on the pay-per-view more valuable. It's just, it's chaotic, guys. It's sad. I'm kind of glad that these organizations are coming up to compete with the UFC, like ONE FC. We got the PFL, who just signed with ESPN. Bellator is looking amazing, so I really hope the UFC cleans up their act soon, because they're just money hungry. It's all about who has the biggest name, not who has the most skill. And these belts mean nothing anymore. I know I was supposed to talk about the fight. I'll break it down later. But I really just wanted to talk about how this whole situation just muddies up the division for featherweight and kind of for lightweight also. It's just a sad, sad thing. I want to know what you guys think in the comments below. Are you on my side, or like, are you alright with all these interim belts and the UFC being a dog and pony show and these belts not really holding any real value towards who's the best fighter in the world? Anyways, guys, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.